last time about Clay Helton's detractors, but they may not necessarily be in the USC athletic department or administration because he's got himself a contract extension.
He does, yeah. It actually was announced the day before National Signing Day, so that was a little bit of craziness before the more madness happened. But I think it was a vote of confidence to try and help seal the deal with some of the guys who were being negatively recruited against USC. We're like, oh, Clay Helton he doesn't have contract security. So I think they nailed that down to kind of get those last guys sealed. But I think it was for the situation that they had, you had to extend Helton. Lynn Swann put out a statement. He has full confidence in Helton. He believes Helton can take him to a national championship. So we don't have any details on his contract. They did not disclose his contract details. And since USC is a private school, we can't just FOIA that. We can't get any information. So that is unknown, but definitely interesting news coming for Helton.
And it wasn't just Clay Helton.
No, yeah. So a couple of weeks later, T. Martin, the offensive coordinator, and Clancy Pendergast, the defensive coordinator, both got extended. We don't know the details with their contracts either, but it's definitely security for USC, continuity for USC, which they haven't really seen in a while with their coaching staff. So I think that definitely helps, and it helps the recruits. I know I saw one recruit quote tweet the extension and say stability is key. So I think that's something that they're preaching to the recruits too. So that's definitely what Helton wants going forward, stability in his program. And that was something that people liked about Helton, especially the players when he first started, was that stability. So at least USC will have stability going forward. So, but he did say at the National Signing Day press conference, he got questions about his extension, Helton did. And he said that I know that production is key. He said that he would like to be at USC for the rest of his career. But he did say he was self-aware and knows that in order to do that, you have to produce at USC. You have to get to that top level, New Year's Six, national championship, Pac-12 winner, So he's self-aware and he knows that he has to produce to keep that his legacy at USC, which he wants. So
Keely, if they're spinning their wheels in 5 years and he's not quite getting it done, that would be one thing. But he jumps on at the end of 2015, so you got to dismiss that. He turns it around from 1-3 to win a Rose Bowl, finish in the top 5 in the nation. The next year, they win the Pac-12 for the first time since Pete Carroll. And they get to a Cotton Bowl, and sure, the Notre Dame game was ugly. The Ohio State game, to a lesser extent, ugly. So I get the thought that, oh, can we compete with the best teams, that being in the back of people's minds. But in terms of bottom line wins and losses, getting to championship games, the Rose Bowl win caps off one season, the Pac-12 championship the next season. So there are good things to build on here that we haven't seen in a while.
And I think a lot of fans were disappointed, obviously, with how the Ohio State game went. And that's how you cap the 2017 season. And I got some tweets that were like, fire Helton. And I'm like, how can you say that? If you wrote down everything that Helton was able to do in the last 2 seasons, that's impressive. Lynn Swann can't go to Helton and say he's not performing, because he is performing well. Obviously, there's things that need to be cleaned up, but that he's in his second, going into his third full year, as you mentioned. So I think you have to give Helton time. I know a lot of fans weren't happy with how he became the coach at that time period, how he was interim, and then Pat Hayden just gave him the job. But at this point, Clay Helton's head coach. You got to be happy with him, and I think you're in for the long haul for a little bit. So I think fans just have to stay put. He's done well. He's proven himself with things that matter, and I think this is the right thing going forward at this point.
So you're the expert. This is the reason we have you on, Keely. But I hear from other USC people not to expect much in 2018. The things that I know is that this is the best roster in the division. So there should be no reason not to expect a division championship. And once you get to that point, you're obviously playing for the Pac-12.